Good morning. I'm going to try to make this as fast as possible. Today we talked about distance and polygons on the coordinate plane. This is topic 24 in your notebook. So you will turn to your table of contents, write 24, and then write this title down. I'm going to make it quick, so feel free to pause and replay as many times as you feel like you need to. So today our main focus was on using absolute value to find the distance between points, like number 1. To find the distance between point B and C without counting, because sometimes we don't have the coordinate plane, we're going to use their coordinates, which point B is at 3, 2, and he's in quadrant 1, and point C is at 3, -3, and he's in quadrant 4. So the first thing we do is we look and see which one of their values differs. Does their x differ or their y differ? And in this case, it looks like their y values differ. So I'm going to highlight those. So when they're in different quadrants like this, we are going to be adding their absolute values. So I'm going to take the absolute value of 2 and add it to the absolute value of -3 to get a total distance of 5 units. Now, if I wanted to double check myself, I could just take my pencil and go from B to C, because I do actually have this grid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Checks out. 5 units apart. Number 2 says, what is the distance between points D and B? Well, we just used point B, so I'm going to rewrite him just like he is in quadrant 1. Then I'm going to find point D. He's down here in quadrant 4, and he is at ordered pair 3, -5. So again, I need to find which one of their values, x's or y's, differ. And it looks like the y values. And if you'll notice, look, they are vertically distance apart, just like the y-axis is vertical. So I'm going to circle their y values. Then I'm going to take the absolute value of -5. And I'm going to add the absolute value of 2, and 5 plus 2 gives me 7. They're 7 units apart. And I could keep going, and I would in fact find 5 plus 2 is 7. On number 3, I'm looking for the distance between points D, which I just did, 3, -5, in quadrant 4, and point E. This is a new one. He's way over here in quadrant 3, and he is at -1, -5. So on this one, it looks like their x values are different. And look at this. They are horizontally separated. So their x values are 3 and -1. And since they're in different quadrants again, I'm going to add their absolute values. When they are in different quadrants, you add their absolute values. And 3 plus 1 makes 4 units. Number 4 is a little more tricky because they are asking which of these points, A, B, C, D, or E, is 4 units from this guy, which I'm going to plot -1, -3, and this graph's hard to see, so you may want to draw your little lines or definitely count down, and 2 units away from 3, -1, so that's over here. And the only point that qualifies to be 4 away from this guy, 3, 4, and 2 away from this guy is point C. So he's the only one that qualifies. All right, now let's look at the bottom half of the paper. On the bottom half, it says draw the polygon with the given vertices. And we've actually drawn this before. If you did notes from Friday, then you have this. So to draw this polygon, we've got to go right 4, up 4 for point A. So plot him and label him. Then right 7 and up 4 for point B. Right 7 up 1 for C. And right 4 up 1 for D. And we are drawing a polygon. So let's connect them. Then it's asking me, what is the distance between points A and B? Well, did you notice this entire shape is in quadrant 1? They're all in the same quadrant. So I do want to go back to my points and look. The only ones that differ are their x values. When they're in the same quadrant, you find their difference. So when they're in the same quadrant, you're finding the difference between them. So you're subtracting. I'm going to make a little side note, and I'm going to say same. I'm going to abbreviate quad for quadrant. Subtract. Only when they're in the same one, because I don't have to go to my axis to get on the other side. So 7 minus 4 does give me 3 units. There's 3 units between point A and point B. 3. What type of polygon is this? I can look at it and clearly see this guy is a rectangle. But he's just more than a rectangle. He could also be a quadrilateral. Great spelling word, by the way. Or he is a 3 by 3, so he could be a square. Then finally, what is the area of the shape? If you recall, area is the number of square units it takes to cover the space. You will need to know this for that Mr. McDunk paper. It's called Get Moving. So I would have to take the length and multiply it by the width. Remember, the dot means times. So if it's 3 by 3, then it gives me an area of 9. 9 square units. So once you're finished taking your notes, go ahead and trim and paste this in your notebook. Then you are to complete that Mr. McDunk paper that I assigned on Google Classroom. Be sure and read it very, very carefully. All right, have a great day.